I'm with Ford, and you'll see in a moment, Ford Motor Company, you're probably aware of them from their vehicles, hopefully from firsthand experience. But Ford is more than just vehicles. We're a mobility company, and we have a number of different brands. We sell parts, we sell service, we sell vehicles, we sell financing, and also we have Ford Land, which leases commercial properties as well. The team that I lead at Ford is called Smart Living, and what we do is we look at emerging technologies. We apply futuring techniques to understand where it is we want to focus, and then we are zeroing in on the concepts of the Internet of Things and how AI ties into that as well, to see what we can do within Ford to create a better work experience, more efficient in what we do, and also new product opportunities. And I like to disrupt, so I thought it would be safe to not disrupt manufacturing and our products up front. So I started working with Ford Land. Figured that was a safe place. If the drinking fountains stop working, we'll get a few complaints, but if we stop manufacturing, that's not a good thing. So started in that place, and I like to talk about the 4 Ps: people, process, places, and products. And so we focused on the people, and the products are the places first to get an understanding of what it is we're going to do with IoT and AI within Ford. And then once we have that understanding, branch out into manufacturing and product offerings as well. So within the Ford Land space, if you haven't heard, there's been a number of press releases about Ford renovating their Dearborn campus. It's a 60-year-old campus. We have 70 buildings throughout Dearborn. If you're not familiar with the area, you can see the little map up there, the one in the upper right-hand corner. That's our product and development center. That piece alone fits in the blue section on the lower map of the city of Dearborn. So you can see just our product development center takes up a large part of the city of Dearborn. If I was to put blotches on all of the map, we'd probably take up more than 50% of the city. So it is a city within a city, and we're reinventing that campus. We're tearing down a number of different buildings. There's over 70 buildings in the area. We're tearing them down, building up new buildings with new workspaces and state-of-the-art facilities. In doing that, Ford Land heard about our group and decided to come down to my lab and started talking to us about the future of the campus and what a smart building meant to them. Of course, they went out and looked at what's the current state of smart buildings. They looked at the Deloitte building in the Netherlands and some of the others, Apple's building, and so forth. And so we said, you know, if we're building a campus that's 10 years out and you're looking at today's buildings, you're not really building something that's going to last another 60 to 70 years. And so they started telling us a little bit about what they wanted to do in terms of smart buildings, things like taking the wastewater in and using that to flush toilets, using lighting controls to set mood lighting for the workspaces. And so I just started picking apart at it and said, so that rainwater that you just brought in the building, you've now heated it up, you've wasted energy that you're now pouring down the toilet. Did you think about running underneath the sidewalk first and melting the snow so that you don't have to shovel snow? We didn't think of that. And those lightings for creature comforts, did you think about how you could also use them for other things like wayfinding through the building or disorienting a active shooter during a crisis situation? We didn't think about that. So then they told us, well, we're about to order tablets put on the outside of all the conference rooms so that we could help people to schedule the conference rooms. And at that point, walked outside the door, literally ripped the sign off the door outside, which is just a printed sign showing the room number, held up my smartphone in front of it and showed through augmented reality, I could tell you everything about the room that was going on that day. And I said, why would you buy a tablet to put on the outside of the door when we already have technology in our pockets? Why waste all that money for investment? So we started our journey with Ford Land. So our vision of where we want to go with smart buildings is, imagine yourself, you're walking into a room and the room recognizes who you are. And it says, David, I see you're in this room. You're about to have a meeting. However, there's something going on in this room. Would you like me to reschedule you somewhere else? And I respond, yes. And it says, okay, go out in the hallway, follow the blue flashing light. So I start walking through the hallway and I hear a voice that's telling me, I see that you were having a meeting with so-and-so. Would you like me to invite that person as well? Yes. So miraculously, we all end up at the same place at the same time, having the same meeting, because the building has enough sensors in it to recognize who I am and what my needs are. I met Dana last night, for example. First time we met and got to know her a little bit, talked a little bit. So when we met again today, we could pick up on our conversations that we had yesterday. We want to get to the point where a room has that kind of intelligence, which scares some people because now you've got an inanimate object with no emotions that knows an awful lot about you. But could we then protect it using technologies such as blockchain to give it, if you will, selective amnesia? So when you leave the room, it forgets who you are, can't share the ledger, so forth, until it needs to come back and pick up from the history where it left off on. Why do we want to do this? Well, if we can make a confined space smart enough in that kind of way, I see the vehicle as the ultimate IoT wearable, and in the future, a 55-mile-an-hour conference room. So we can then put that into the vehicles and extend that out. And then the next step is open spaces. So that's what my group is doing at Ford, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks, David.